Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do the tutorial for the bag. I've used November's large club dies for this, and I've also used the 3D embossing folder for November. So this is what we're going to make today. I just wanted to show you another one that I've made, but this time I did it sort of Christmassy themed. Obviously use the lock etc from that, but for these dies I've used the poinsettia, the winter foliage, and I used the eucalyptus from that one. So just another way that you can decorate your bag, make it what theme you like really. So let's get started. Okay, so I've used these three colours. So we've got fawn, truffle and raven. That's the cardstock you're going to need. I've started with some of the bits. Let's move all this out of the way. Okay. So you need two pieces that are 10.5 by 8. Okay. I'm going to need our scoreboard. So let's do this first. So on the 10.5 inch side, you need to score at 7. And 10. Flip it over and score at 5. And then flip it back. Now to make this part here, what I did was I put my ruler on the 4 inch mark, and at 8.5 score down. Okay, so you need two of those for the front and the back. Okay, for the handles you need 2 which are 11 inches by 1 inch. So on the 11 inch side, what we're going to do, we're going to score 1 inch and then just put a little pencil mark. So you want to lining it up with your 1/2 inch and lining it up with your 1.5. You can rub this out, it's just a guideline. Flip it over again, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And then what you need to do is we want to score from that dot to that bottom dot. Okay, so what I do is go lightly over there so you know you're in the track. I don't know what's going to be easier to do it with. Okay, then when you get to your dot, score down to your dot at the bottom, so you end up with that basically. So you need 2 of those. Then what I'm going to do is get my ruler, and all I'm going to do is get a stylus and go from the dot to the top of the 1 inch score mark, like so, on both sides. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so you end up with that basically. That's not actually scored. So, and then what you need to do is to start curling your paper and then fold in half, and then make your little triangle at the end. Okay, so you end up with that. And then just keep folding it smoothing it out. Till you get your handle shape. A little bit more. Okay, and that gives you your handle. Right, now back to this one. So again, what we did, we scored down, didn't we, to 4. So again, put your stylus in the corner, and then you're going to go to this corner. And corner to corner. Okay, then we're going to fold, burnish our score lines, and then just work this one. It doesn't actually have to fold, it's more just to give it a bit of give, if you like. So when the bag is shut, it's okay. Right, then you need to get out of the way, we don't need that anymore. And get your scissors and then cut straight, and then cut a wedge off. Okay, and then on this one we're going to cut a wedge off and a wedge off there. So that's what you end up with. Okay, so you've got 2 exactly the same. Now the embossed pieces, what I did, I cut it down to 5 by 7, embossed it, and then I cut it down again so that it was even. I then cut it to 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So what we're going to do is lay that on there like so. I'm using my cloud glue. You get a little bit of wiggle room. If it's easier to visualize it laying flat, and then you can see your equal borders. To one side. Okay, and then basically what we're going to do is stick these 2 pieces together. So on that 1/2 inch tab, stick that on there. So let's use this glue. Line it up. Your score line straight along that bottom edge. Press down. And turn it over. Fold it in half. And then we're going to glue on that tab. Okay, so then you've got your give there, so obviously because of those score marks. And then what I do is I fold the bottom one in, then these, and then that back on itself, so that will become the front. Okay, so I'm going to glue these in. And then we'll glue this one down. over and get your hand inside and give that a good push. Okay, so that's our bag. Then we've got obviously the handles, and then out of the die set I've used this one, so cut that 4 times and then we're going to stick them onto these. Okay, let those dry. Right, the easiest way I found is if you literally eyeball it, or what I did was roughly gave myself an inch from the edge and stuck the first one on. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Right, so you're roughly an inch. Okay, and then obviously stick your handle, so that score line is right on the top of that bag. I'm going to glue this one. Again, mark an inch roughly. Push it down. Okay, and the same on the back. Okay, so that's your handles done. I mean, you can glue the handles if you want to. It doesn't actually need it. They do stay together. So there's your handles. Okay, now for the straps, what you need is a piece of fawn that is 2 inches by 5, and then a piece of raven that is 1.5 by 5. So we're just going to glue that on the center. So try and get a nice 1/4 inch border on both sides. Okay, and then again you need a piece which is 2 inches by 9, and then 1.5 by 9. And what I do is mark it at 5, because that's the width of the bag. So from 5 onwards you want this bit to be curved over. So then just start curving. So I've just got my finger on the 5 mark and start curving that over there. Basically. You can do it with a bone folder, you can do it on the edge of the desk. And now this part's optional because you can have those bits. Actually, I'm just going to trim that edge off so that they're nice all together. Okay, so just trim that edge off. So yeah, so what I was going to say, this bit is optional, so you can either have it straight, or if you've got a corner rounder, you can cut the corners. I'm going to trim the corners. Okay, so that's going to go on the back, and then this one is going to go here on the front. So I'm going to do the front one first. Okay, and then just eyeball that they're equal gap between the two handles. So just push that down. And the little pencil mark that we did, so you know you don't want your glue up any higher than that. Oh, accidents today. What we're going to do is do exactly the same on the back. In the centre, and make sure that they line up, which they do. So let that dry. And again, another optional extra on this one, I put the corners on the bag. So I've got a 2-inch circle, stitch circle from my dies. And then all I did was score it at 1 inch. So you get the 4 corners. You can stick those on like so. Just tidy that up, cut that score line away. So, again, cut the score line away. Okay, again, keep folding, and this is where you can decide. We need some Velcro dots. Got some white ones there, white ones or black ones. So it's up to you, depending on what you're going to put in your bag. You can have the flap lower down, or if you're going to put a chunkier present in, you can have it nearer the top. So it's entirely up to you where you want to put your Velcro. 2 dots together. Put it on the flap. Put them together on the flap, and then decide. I think I'm going to have it about there. Okay. That's where that's going to go. Then I've already cut out the bits and pieces, so obviously back to the die set. So you need this piece, to make that, and then obviously cut those two together to make the gold, and then just that one on its own to cut the black. And then you need this piece for the back. I use some little gems, you can see them, and I just use this gold mix. So we're going to stick that on. Decide if you want it right on the edge, you can have it further back. Try and centre it. Like so. And that's our basic bag. And then just decorate it however you want. I mean, obviously you can put these people, the little bear and the dice, which I've got here, which I probably will put on, like so. Or again, decorate it with Christmas, however you like. So I'm going to put this on high speed, and then I'm just going to stick these on together. So all I did was use that and a little bit of ribbon. So I think I'm going to attach that first, and then I know how long I need the chains to be to attach the charms. There you go. Little bag. Little crow. Your bag inside. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.